like I'm on the ball today. I even felt exempted from the law today. It's like this revelation dawned on me. It's so amazing, helps support the cause. I get everyone involved. I feel like I'm on the ball today. I even felt exempted from the law today. It's like this revelation dawned on me. It's so amazing, helps support the cause. I get everyone involved.
Good morning. Dance to that in the morning.
It's actually, the words are really spectacular. I'm feeling on the ball this morning, and I am feeling on the ball. Welcome. If this is your first time here, this is the Daily Huddle. I am Steve Nudelberg. That is not Lori Nudelberg across the and that is not Shay Nudelberg. There's only one today. So, Lori, good morning.
Good morning, Lori Salarulo. Although I sometimes feel like a Nudelberg, don't you?
Listen, Corey Gill is quickly becoming Corey Nudelberg, man. Let me tell you something, man.
Well, him and Mark look alike. That could work, actually.
That guy is falling right into line. Good morning, Shay. Shay, any baseball words?
Not
Come
much.
on, give it to me. Give it to me. The Mets.
Mets are playing there, battling for a wild card spot. So
incredible.
I'll see.
Wow.
Just quickly. Mindset. They had this character throw out the first pitch like a month ago.
It was the purple dude.
Right.
Grimace.
Right.
There you go.
Which is what McDonald's character, correct?
Yeah.
So the Grimace threw out the first pitch, and since that time, they've only lost one game.
Wow.
So big, super, but that's the power of the mind. When people talk about superstition, it's just the power of positive thinking. As we do most Tuesdays when we get together, we'll give you a chance to share what's up with Lori.
Oh, great long week. Was in Orlando. Actually, I know I was on the show that morning, had the meeting that afternoon. Just such an honor. It's the Career Florida board. That's the bottom picture, to work with some of these people. Secretary Hall, who runs DJJ, Secretary Kelly, who runs Florida Commerce, Kevin O'Farrell, DOE, Department of Education, just really a smart group of people. And then the top picture, Thursday night, was our Rosé Soiree, which is one of the events we started about 4 years ago for the Circle of Wise Women. That is my team, everybody who was there that night. You can see how everyone jumps in to help. And the girl right in the front with the flowers, the young girl, is the student who spoke that night, who was unbelievable, telling her story, her JA story of hope and confidence. And it's why I love what I do. So
Awesome.
We launched the One Girl, One Future campaign. So that went well. We're continuing to run that. So, yeah, really cool.
Interesting. I think last month they had a joint event between the Wise Women and the League.
We did. It was a pajama party at City Furniture, and it went really, really well. But, I think what's interesting is in the last few years, so we started the Circle of Wise Women started with like 10 women. And over the last, I would say 4 or 5 years, we really have had a concerted effort to grow it, bring in younger business women and so forth. We're now at 220, and we probably won't get too much bigger, but great group of women, dynamic, smart, like ambitious, just really great networking with some fabulous women.
I agree. And I think this one you honored Ginny Miller or Tracy Miller?
Ginny Miller, longtime community advocate. For those of you who are younger may not remember Ginny, but gosh, did Ginny make a difference in our community. And then also we honor one young up and coming leader, Erica Davis, who is with JM Family. Also a rock star, just amazing, really involved in our Girls Rule event. So just really a super
really,
great night.
Really, really, really good stuff. I yesterday started my workshops with Right Way Transportation. So this is great. The evolution of a deal. I've been coaching Jeff Lassen, their CEO. They just recently made it to the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies in America. Worked with him and he said, dude, it's working. Can I have you work with my number one guy? That number one guy, bottom right, is Blair. Blair is top salesperson there. His best 2 months in a row, a company best. And so yesterday I started working with the whole team. And I tell you, man, it's, environment, it makes a difference. We got there early. We shot some baskets. They have a Right Way Cafe. They have the basketball court. They have a weight room. And then boom, right into the room. And let me tell you something. We started at 2:00 and those people were dialed in. So shout out to that team. I am super jacked about working with you.
Well, just as a side note, so I think Mark is coming with our team, our programs, mostly on the programs and operations side. On Saturday, we're doing a professional development with them, leadership, mindset, planning. Right, we're not actually going to be doing the planning, but just that mindset of planning. And so I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, Mark is fired up. It's really nice for me to sort of pass the baton, if you will, all the work that I've been able to do at JA, and now
Absolutely.
he's bringing his specialty to it. And so it's really cool because the company, our company, has a really nice divide. I mean, when it's leadership and culture, it's really Mark's bailiwick. When it's biz dev, growth, personal branding, it's mine. And so we have this nice little interplay of how we're sharing clients. So great.
And sharing clients, but I want to make sure everybody catches what you just said. It's about zoning in on people's skill sets and using them in the right way in your company. So that's kind of
the reality is not every role is forward facing or sales development. So my conversation tends to, while it is about getting 1% better and there's a personal side to it, that's generally not a long-term thing. That's hey, I want to get better. Here's some ways to get better. Leadership and culture are so significant to the backbone of the company. So when they work together, which Mark has a half a dozen that are working, it is absolutely magical. Speaking of clients, I got a call yesterday from Greg Goldstein, Double G, who we love. He's not here this morning, but I told him I would shout him out. And he said he was having a conversation with somebody and they said, "Do you know Steve Nudelberg?" And he said, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Because you're like a clone of him." Everything you're saying, I've heard him say in the stuff he's done. So he called to tell me that. So I was very flattered. I also said I would share. His company is growing, really proud of him. And so he is looking for a part-time graphic designer to join his team. So I'm throwing it out to the huddle if anybody knows of somebody. And I think graphic artists are, looking for opportunities. So if you can match the two up, super cool. God, we ran really, it's 8:06 already. Shay, let's wake this thing up and get us going. Nice to see Corey Gill in the house this morning. Corey is in, I guess it would be his third week with us, and all things pointing up. Reach out, have a virtual coffee with him. Great stuff. Lori, I always watch the trends and I want to pay attention to things that are happening that are going well and things that are not going well. Shay, show me a graph. Median earnings for full-time workers. Thank you. There you go. So this is adjusted, but the gap between what men make and what women make jumped for the first time in many, many years. The U.S. Census speaks about it. Any thoughts there, Lori?
Yeah, it makes me wonder why. Right. You know me, I'm a fixer, right? So first thing I think is, why is that still happening? And I think, there's a few reasons that came to my mind. One is, right, that flexibility. While I think more men are absolutely more men are stepping up to help care for children and stuff, women tend to take those jobs that provide that flexibility more often, and those are lower paying jobs typically.
Correct.
So I think, one of the things we could do obviously is create that flexibility in the higher paying jobs so that women can take those jobs and have that flexibility. I don't know if COVID had anything to do with this, because and the change in the workforce, right? We went from in person to at home, working from home, and now we're kind of hybrid. So I don't know if that had something to do with the increase. I don't know. I think it's just,
here's what bothered me. There was one that stood out that bothered me. It's the median woman working full time in 2023 earned 83% of what a median man earned.
yeah.
That is like, what? Jen Gressman, who I love, and I love the opportunity to work with her, came up yesterday, and a lot of times she's the only woman in the room. You just showed a picture this morning of that board that you went to. You're the only woman in the room, man. It's insane. Like, it's not a representation.
Well, what's interesting is, so there are the women on the board, but if you look at the titles, I said to you, they're all men.
They're all men.
All of the leaders, right, are gentlemen, are male. So yeah, I mean, listen, at some point, it's on us. The responsibility is on us as CEOs, as leaders, as hiring, right, managers. We have to be intentional about changing this. And if we're not, right, we're going to continue to see these trends. So to me, that's the bottom
I'm
line.
involved in a lot of different companies, and I think some of the more static categories are stuck. That's why they're like banking and insurance. They're just stuck. There's really no representation of women. There's no representation of any ethnic groups. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Emmys. I don't usually watch those kind of shows. This one was very entertaining, and I get the actors. John Leguizamo was on, and he talked about the change in Hispanics that are involved in motion pictures, or has totally changed because they are speaking about it. They are talking about it all the time. He took out an ad in the first time he ever took a personal ad in the New York Times, that said, "Hey, where are all the Hispanic people?" And he's like,
right.
I think this is where it plays a role in JA, and I'll leave it at this, but your circle of wise women, those are role models for other women who are coming up that say, "Hey, we're here." You look at all the women in that room. I mean, look at Ginny Miller, man. Ginny Miller's just a monster in this marketplace. She did it when it was totally uncool for women to be part of that conversation. Right. Tracy, in her footsteps. So I just think, we try and be, talk about topical things here. I think we need to put more women in place. Yep. So I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. Can't agree more.
Good. So yesterday we talked about Bon Jovi. Got a lot of response about Bon Jovi being there, about...
We're missing something, just so you know.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I missed the daily thought. Thank you. We need a daily thought. I jumped right into it. I was so excited. I'm off my game. Lori, give me daily affirmation.
Got it. One thing I've learned is that life is a paradox. In order to heal, you must hurt. In order to love, you must break open. And in order to have peace, you must face chaos. Never forget any experience in your life, because it is always meant to bring you balance. The light always follows. Wow.
I could not agree more with a statement. And that paradox, if you understand it, friction makes diamonds. That's, friction in business. Mark and I don't get along, don't agree on every conversation.
No.
But that conversation leads to all the good stuff because we're challenging each other. And so all of those scenarios, and Jonathan Aarons, you are correct. It is Shay that keeps me in line. I must tell everybody I am playing injured, not hurt. I don't feel so great, so I must have like 4 gallons of Dayquil in me. So it's like, woo! Woo! You're all moving, man. It's all great. So moving on. Yesterday we talked about Bon Jovi, and wow, he was there and what he did, and he's producing new music, and his music is so engaging and so wholesome and so great. Here we are. It's Tuesday. We're going to come back to another star who's doing some great stuff. Coldplay actually surprised the bride and groom by letting them premiere the band's new song for the first dance at their wedding. Can you imagine anything remotely like that? I can't. And so I'm going to play you a little bit of that song, All My Love.
Thank you for being so good to us, and we'll see you next time. This is called All My Love. This is how we feel about all of you. Thank you. We've been through love, been through sunshine, been through the snow. All the colors of the weather. We've been through high, every corner of the sky. Still we're holding on together. You've got all my love, whether it rains or pours, I'm all yours. You've got all my love, whether it rains, it will rain. You've got all my love.
Wow.
Isn't he amazing? It's just, it's hard to imagine that he was married to Gwyneth Paltrow and it didn't work out. Man, what a bummer.
Must
Anyway,
be her fault.
if you Google that story, you will see that the couple tried, and they had heard it in some private thing, and they tried to make it happen, which is a story about resilience and commitment. And 2 days before their wedding, they got a response that said, "We're going to allow you to do it." And so just super, super cool. And
Love it.
good things happen like that. And I drove that point home yesterday. You just don't see shit like this anywhere else. Nobody's talking about the good stuff. They're all talking about the negative, which brings us to, so yesterday I started with this team. They had seen me in 2 presentations, 90 minutes, 2 hours, great, fantastic. This was the work, and I'm going to be working with them through the end of the year. And so I chose to start out by saying the entire thing is based on mindset, actual mindset as a gauge every day, everything you intake. And so I put together a list. I don't know, Lori, if you got a chance to look at
I
it.
did.
It's not in any particular order because I just threw it together with some thoughts. My favorite, and I'm going to start out by saying, is that I no longer have to do anything. I am reveling in the fact that I get to do it. And that was so true when people talking about it. Oh my God, you have to do it now. You have to get up every morning. No, I get to do this and have people respond. So I don't know what resonates with you there, but it's so significant.
There were a few that resonated with me. I would say for sure one was from victim to empowered. Right? Why does this always happen to me? Oh, poor me, right? To, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And I see, listen, we've all fallen into that, right? I probably, there's not a person out there. The question is, right, do you get stuck in any of these mindsets? Right. I think that's what that one made me think of, because I went through a time of that when something was going on in my life, and it took a kick from somebody to get me out of that. Right. So I think all of these mindsets going from one to the other, how do you transition from one mindset to the other? The other one was about, I think, I always talk about perfectionism versus progress, right? Right. Just progress, always, letting go of perfection. But I think the other one, there was one about jealousy Also, I think, what was it now? I don't know, I can't find it, but there was one about, right, being jealous of others versus, right, being, focused on you and what you bring to the table, and not worrying about what others do. So there's so many good ones in here, boy. Really.
Yeah, I mean, I did the work. This to me was like a purge. It had been banging around in my head, and I'm a real believer that what you say or how you talk about yourself actually manifests. So, when you say, I don't have time, which is again one of my favorites, you can easily say, I'll make the time, because we all have the time. It's a matter of priorities. And it's inevitable that the two things that we wind up working on the most is what people think and what people do, because they're so tied together. The rest is tactical. LinkedIn, video, all of the things we talk are tactical. But if you enter it with the wrong mindset, where you don't believe in abundance, you don't believe that it's in there for you, you are what you tell yourself you are. And if you say, oh, here it is again. Oh, I knew it would happen. It was like, you wished it, man. It was like, all right, this happened. What's next? And so that those shifts, which people think are easy, they are
They're not.
not. They are not. And to your point, they are constant. You are constantly battling against that big muscle in your head that says, I'm not really worth it. I don't, most people see themselves worse than they actually show up.
Oh, we're our own worst critics, right?
Yeah.
We talk, it's kind of like the little devil on one shoulder, right? And the angel on the other one. And which one are we going to listen to in our heads? But I really do. And I think this is where your board, your crew, whatever you call it, your tribe, right? Those people that see when you're stuck in something. I think that's the key, because we're all gonna get stuck in some of these mindsets, right? At some point or another in our life. How do we get out of them? And having that support system and that accountability partner, right, really helps you get out of it. And I talked about the training that Mark's going to do with our team on Saturday. It's all about mindset.
Just the mindset about showing up on Saturday.
Right.
Like most people, Saturday, that's my day. What a crock of shit, man.
Right. No, my answer was, you know what? Growing doesn't just happen between 9 and 5 on Monday through Friday.
There's a mantra, man. That's unbelievable.
I mean, but the whole thing, we're not doing tactical training. We're not doing technical training. We're not actually going to do strategic planning. The whole session really is about mindset and shifting the mindset of, right, reactive. And this was in there too, from being reactive to proactive, right? Those kinds of things, entrepreneurial mindset, right? Versus a manager doing tasks. So that's the part that's so exciting about that. And they needed help. They're kind of stuck, right?
Well, what tends to happen is this kind of reinforcement. When you get people that come to the party, they fill everybody else up all the time. And so, I'm grateful that our team, when we meet on Monday, it's a major dose of, woo, this is what we're doing. And, people who are successful really embrace accountability. Nobody wants chaos. They want to be involved in something that's moving forward, that is feeding them on multiple levels. And all of this stuff starts with what you think. And why we start every day with an affirmation is because we're turning the engine on to say, yeah, you know what? I get it. I know it. I feel it. So thank you for spending the day.
This list hopefully makes everybody who's listening, right, conscious of when we're in those mindsets and it's time to shift. So anyway, yeah.
No, it's great. Thank you for all of the regulars that show up. Corey Gill, great comment. I don't have time really means it's not a priority. That's right, man. Life is about priorities. If you want to be successful, you have to GSD. You know what that is, Lori?
GSD. I don't know.
Get shit done. Period, man. Thank you for joining us. You almost didn't make it this week.
I was like, I'm out? How could I be out?
Tomorrow is an anomaly. I am speaking early in the morning at the Amerant Bank conference.
And Mark's in New York, right?
Mark and Jake are in New York. Mark is speaking to a hotel group up in New York. So we're both gone. So tomorrow will be a rerun, but I'm sure Shay will pick a doozy. Mark and Jake will be back on Thursday. And then on Friday, I am with my friend and super entrepreneur, Eric Malka. Eric founded The Art of Shaving. I had a wonderful time working with him over the years.
Founded Art of Shaving? Wow.
And the story is so unbelievable. And I'll tee you up with this. He sold his BMW to open up the first store. And,
wow.
His
I can't wait to hear that.
He sold it to P&G and came up with another line that I use all the time called Ingredients. No bullshit, just pure deodorants and face scrubs and stuff. So he's a genius. He wrote a book called The Razor's Edge. Great title for a guy in the business. So do not miss Friday. See you back. Let's go.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business.